Chapter 1 of Peggy Raymond's Way, or Blossom Time at Friendly Terrace, by Harriet Lummis Smith. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Chapter 1 What's in a Name? It was the first day of the spring vacation, and Amy Lassell had spent it sewing. To be frank, it had not measured up to her idea of a holiday. Self-indulgence was Amy's besetting weakness. Her dearest friend, Peggy Raymond, was never happy unless she was busy at something, but Amy loved the luxury of idleness. Yet although indolence appealed so strongly to Amy's temperament, to do her justice she was generally able to turn a deaf ear to its call. The first of summer after America's entry into the war she had enlisted in the land army along with Peggy and Priscilla, and then in the fall had taken up her work at the local Red Cross headquarters, serving in an unpaid position as conscientiously as if she had received a salary and was depending on it for her bread and butter. After a strenuous year with the Red Cross, Amy had entered college with Ruth Wiley. Neither girl had expected to enter till after the close of the war, and Amy was continually harping upon the respect which the young and unsophisticated freshmen were bound to feel for classmates of such advanced years. But Nelson Hallowell's discharge from the service had altered the aspects of affairs. Ruth had pledged herself to keep Nelson's position for him till he should return, and Amy had promised to wait for Ruth. The wound which had kept Nelson in the hospital less than a month had nevertheless incapacitated him from military service. Heavy-hearted, he had returned to his job at the bookstore, while Ruth and Amy had immediately made their plans for entering college, just 2 years behind Peggy and Priscilla. After her months of hard study, the first day of spring vacation found Amy at the sewing machine, which in itself was sufficient proof that, whatever her natural bias in the direction of indolence, her will was more than a match for that tendency. As a matter of fact, she was the only one of the Friendly Terrace quartet to spend the day in unremitting industry. Peggy and Ruth had gone off with Grahame for the day. Priscilla was entertaining an out-of-town guest. But Amy, resolution manifest in every line of her plump little figure, was sewing for dear life. Though the armistice had been signed months before, there still remained foes to fight, as the girls had promptly discovered. The reaction from economy and hard work had come in the shape of an orgy of extravagance and frivolity. The high war prices were continually going higher, as dealers realized that people would get what they wanted regardless of price. The 4 Friendly Terrace girls, after an afternoon of shopping which had ended in the purchase of a box of hairpins and 2 spools of thread, had returned home to hold a council of war. "The only way to bring prices down is to stop buying things," declared Peggy, with all the authority of a college junior. "I don't know as I have anything to make over, but if I have, nothing new for me this spring." Amy sighed. "I've just been luxuriating in the thought of a lot of new dresses," she said mournfully. "Don't you know how after you've been dieting, all at once you're hungry for cream chicken and pineapple fritters and chocolate with whipped cream and strawberry sundaes all rolled into one, and that's just the way I feel about clothes. But I suppose it will end in my making over my blue taffeta." "I've 2 or 3 summer dresses that will do very well if I make the skirts scanty," said Ruth. "They're too full for this season." They talked on seriously, planning their little economies as if they expected unaided to bring down the high cost of living. They were not the sort of girls who follow the crowd unthinkingly, nor had any of them contracted the fatal habit of asking, "What can one do?" The program they outlined would have resulted in a general lowering of prices in a month's time, if everyone had agreed to it, and it did not occur to them that public indifference excused them from doing their little part toward combating a serious evil. And that was how it happened that Amy Lassell had spent the spring day sewing. The blue taffeta had been ripped and pressed in anticipation of the vacation leisure, and as soon as the breakfast dishes were out of the way, Amy had commandeered the dining room table as a cutting table. With the help of a paper pattern she had remodeled the taffeta according to the latest dictates of fashion. Caution suggested that it would be advisable to wait for assistance in the fitting, but having basted the breadths together and surveyed her reflection in the mirror, Amy had been so favorably impressed that she had gone to work energetically stitching up seams. Like many people whose natural tendency is the direction of indolence, Amy was capable of relentless industry, almost as though she were afraid that if once she halted she might not get her courage to the point of starting again. She swallowed a hasty luncheon and rushed back
Sample complete. Ready to continue?